Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fair channel. I'm going to do, you might remember a couple of weeks ago I got something like, I think it was 10,000 views on my videos, and up to around the same time I got up to like 150 subscribers. So I thought then, because I hadn't done it for 100 subscribers, I'd do like a little mini Q&A session where if anyone wanted to ask any questions, then they would feel free to ask. So I thought I'd redo that video now and answer some of the questions that I received. A few of you did write in with some questions, so thank you very much to everyone who did. It's very much appreciated, and I'm going to answer them in a minute. If you hear a lot of wind or noise in the background of this video, it's because we're in the middle of, I think it's, well, that was a big bit of wind. We're in the middle of our third storm of the week, I think. We've had Storm Dudley, I think it was Storm Eunice or something like that on Friday, and now we've got the third one starting tonight. So we're sat here with all the hatches battened down and kind of holding out for the fact that the wind doesn't get too strong. But anyway, here goes with the questions. First of all, from Jason Harrigan. Do you collect any militaria, such as badges, medals, uniforms, weapons, etc.? No, I did, about 10 years ago, we used to attend car boot sales and like tabletop sales and that sort of thing, and I'd always keep an eye out for medals, because I always find medals quite interesting. And there was one bloke who used to sell quite a lot of military stuff, but he always looked a bit iffy to me, so I never really bought anything, but made sure I always looked each week just for anything of interest. And I always find, kind of where we've lived, the badges, uniforms, and certainly the weapons are hard to come by. So I have a keen interest in the medals and the badges, because I've done family research before previously. But as for owning anything, no, I'm afraid I don't own anything of that sort. But thank you very much for the question. The next question is from Kyleigh Crawford. What is your favourite time period of history, and why is it your favourite? I'm going to say 19th century, I suppose because I specialise in this at university. So I'm going to say 19th century England, Ireland and America, mainly because it was like, you had the US Civil War then, you had the Irish Famine, it was the Victorian era here in the UK, and then you had all the conflicts and goings on in Europe, and it was kind of it just seemed like a really interesting century where everything was suddenly sort of growing and was becoming more industrialised, and people were moving from the field and agriculture into the cities, and the slums and industry was really growing, and I suppose it was like a great big melting pot. You got all these people thrown into this melting pot, and the Industrial Revolution and all that sort of thing occurred in that century. And of course I really like the US Civil War, so I suppose and I've always been fascinated in American history. So I'm picking the 19th century as my favourite. But thank you very much for the question. The next question is from Janice Allen, and she asks, do you have any other interests or hobbies, and do you have a favourite author? Well, actually, I'm in the middle of, I'm going to do a video, or I might turn it into a tag, about my favourite thing, 10 favourite things that I like or I enjoy. And just to slightly give it away, Horrible Histories. It's a series of television programmes here in the UK and books, and it all revolves around history from all around the world. But it's aimed at children, or say 7 to 16-year-olds. I just find the books fascinating, and TV programmes are a great laugh and really funny. And it kind of looks at what would appeal to children, and it, all the horrible, gory stuff that would appeal to children. That's the histories it tells you about. And many of the books are written by Terry Deary, who I think is a brilliant author, and it really does sell history to young people and even to adults. I think the programmes even now are great. Other hobbies and interests, Manchester United Football Club. I know many people might not agree with that, but I've supported them since I was about 7 or 8. And my favourite period, we used to have a captain in the late 90s called Eric Cantona, and I remember at the time, I think I was about 19, 20, I just thought he was brilliant. And I'll give you another one off this favourite list, because obviously you have to watch the next video to find out the other stuff that I'm interested in. But I'm going to say scouting. I've been doing that since I was 8 in a Cub Scout, and went through all the sections, and then eventually became a leader in a number of the sections. And I've been doing that for like the past 25 years. So it's kind of one of the main things that have got me through life. And if you're not sure what scouting is, it's like weekly meetings for boys and girls. You all get together and do like adventure activities and learning and reading maps, camping, hiking, canoeing, anything you can think of, rock climbing. Anything you can think of, we try and do it and cater for the young people. And it's kind of like another form of schooling, isn't it? You can learn so many things during scouting, and I think it's a brilliant thing. And the other question she asked was, do you have a favourite author? I've always liked the author D. Brown, mainly because they were like the first history books of his I read, centred around American history and cowboys and Indians and the Wild West sort of thing, and I always found his stories and books fascinating to read. And I've read probably of about the 14 or 15 books I can probably get hold of, I've read about 11 or 12 of them. So I really do like D. Brown's work. But anyway, thank you very much for the question. Next question, or final question, is from a friend of mine called Vickie Raulerson. She helps support my channel on buymeacoffee.com, so thank you very much again to her. And Vickie asks, what piqued your interest in history, and have you ever taught in the classroom? Like I said previously, I really like the American West. And I suppose it was growing up like in cowboys and Indian films, the old western, the saloons and the gunfighters and all the kind of stories and tales you used to read on the watch on the films. And I grew up being a big John Wayne fan, and watched lots of his films and really enjoyed them. So that was kind of my initial start to American history and the Wild West. And then I remember at school, and usually we did at the American West, or we had a teacher who enjoyed the American West, and sort of his enjoyment of history and what he loved, that came over in his teachings. And so I kind of followed along, really enjoyed his lessons, and that's kind of what got me hooked in the first place. Have I ever taught in the classroom? No. I say I'd find it terrifying, but actually I probably wouldn't. But as I've done scouting, which is basically teaching kids of all ages from about 5 up to 18 for like the last 25 years in scouting. That's a bit like being a teacher, but you don't get paid for it. But no, I really enjoy teaching, and so I'm going to say I've done it partly in scouting, but I should also say that my wife and I home taught our 2 sons at home. She specialised in a good chunk of lessons like drama and English and maths, and I would do things like sports, history, geography and science. And we took them out of school at the age of, I think it was 9 and 10, basically because the schooling they were getting wasn't very good. In our opinion, it wasn't up to much of a standard. I remember my wife once went to a parent-teacher meeting once, and she was asking about what our eldest, who was 10 at the time, what his homework was for that half term. And the teacher, who was not very bright, or I suppose I shouldn't say that really, but she didn't come across as really pushing the children or that sort of thing. And the homework she'd given for the kids was, for a week, was find out what your favourite colour is and why. And we said, well, most kids are going to pick the colour of their favourite football team, and that's it. And homework's done, and they've done it within 30 seconds. So it was that, and then a number of things, and we just kind of thought, well, our boys aren't enjoying schooling at the moment. We believe we're good enough to teach them. We're both university educated, so why don't we give it a go? And in the end, it was quite easy to do, to take them out of school. It was a case of you write to the school, tell them you want to take them out. You write to the local council and say that you're taking them out of school, and then that's it. You're allowed to do whatever you want in theory. What happens is we kind of created a loose routine between my wife and I and the 2 boys, and generally they picked what they fancied doing and learning about. My eldest is one of these, he's always into stats and facts, and he's a great big history lover and certainly knows tons of history and geography, probably more than me. And then our eldest is more practical based, and actually he's now just started college, where he's just done a year of engineering, but now he fancies going into farming, so he's doing a course on farming and agriculture and landscaping, that sort of thing. He hopes to go into the farming industry when he's finished. So there we go, there's my rather, considering it was only 4 questions, it was rather long-winded. If you want to follow up and ask me any further questions, I'll happily answer them down below this video if you want. But other than that, thank you very much for sending me your questions. I quite enjoyed answering them. And thank you very much for watching the video and being subscribers to my channel. It's very much appreciated. And I think you're all brilliant, really. So thank you very much. I'll be out with some videos in the next couple of days. So look out for them, and I shall see you very soon. So thank you very much and goodbye.